Hear you. All right, we will get started. We welcome everybody here to our school board meeting. We'll start out with Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're indeed grateful for this evening that we have to come together here as administrators and school board and the members here in this community. We are grateful for the safety and protection we've been provided since our last meeting. We're grateful for the weather that we've had, for the moisture that we've received. We're grateful for this past summer that we've had. It's went quick, but we are looking forward to another school year starting, and we ask you to please bless all the administrators and teachers and students, that they may be prepared and excited and be ready to start another year. We ask you to please bless all the staff and teachers, that they may be able to have an even better and more productive year than what they had last year, that we may always strive to do better in whatever we may be in charge of. We ask you to please bless each of us, that as we go throughout our day-to-days, that we may always have influence and opportunities to help and encourage and uplift others, that we may be a light and a beacon. We ask you to please bless all those that are in need or struggling in our area, that they may receive assistance, that they may receive what they need, and that we may be hands in being able to relieve that stress. We ask you to please bless this meeting, that we may decide and discuss and do those things which would be thy will. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. All right, future board meetings. As you can tell, we are going to cancel the August 11th meeting. There's not a lot of stuff going on that has to be discussed there, so we're going to cancel the August 11th. So our next meeting will be August 25th and September 8th, all here at 6 o'clock. Revisions to the agenda. There is quite a bit under HR, so we will, when we get to that, we'll go over those revisions. Public recognition. We have donations. I don't think so. No donations. Do you have anything?
Yep, I do have a couple of just staff recognitions that I'd like to mention. This one actually came from the Indiana Department of Education, which I've not ever seen this before in my time here, but just wanted to extend my thanks for your prompt submission of the MSD Wabash County Schools 8050 Form 9 financial data for the period of January to June 2026. We appreciate your attention to the deadline and the care you took in providing complete and accurate information, which contributes directly to the quality of our statewide financial information, as well as the efficiency of our work. And Cheryl Stopper, who is our accounts payable receivable person, is really in charge of organizing that Form 9 financial data and getting that submitted. And Travis oversees that, and so we just wanted to thank Cheryl for her hard work. Like I said, I've never received a email from the Department of Education thanking us for our submission to Form 9, and so just want to appreciate Cheryl's work and efforts on that. Again, Form 9 is something that we submit every 6 months, and that's financial data that goes to the state. Next, I'd like to recognize some members of our transportation department: Kyle Hiley, who is our bus mechanic, Lisa Miller, Jody Chenoweth, and Tom Garthy, who are our bus drivers, Melissa Ball and Tim Plant, who are transitioning and transportation directors, for helping out with our bus inspections for this year. Buses will be ready to go for the start of the school year. Kyle is a one-man department and does a great job keeping our buses up and running as we head into the start of the school year. Last year, our buses traveled 382,743 miles, which is about 15 and a half times around the earth. So, a lot of miles last year on our buses, and so our drivers do a great job, and Kyle does a great job in maintaining and keeping those buses running each and every year. So we appreciate those efforts during this time with inspections. So just wanted to thank everybody on those things right there. So.
All right. And speaking of that, I don't know why they sent me an email, but they also sent me an email.
Who did? Form 9?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
For our school district being prompt and effective in getting that information to them, because it makes their job much easier.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, we appreciate it.
so they someone must have been bored. So,
Yeah,
all right.
good deal.
Anything else under school recognition?
Not this time.
All right, public comment, agenda items only. If not, we will move on to our agenda items. First up is the approval of our minutes, our regular meeting minutes of July 14th. Can we get a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Financial reports, claims, and payroll number 1.
Yep, so payroll is first of the new year, so it's back to normal. Happy to answer any questions, but it's as expected.
This will be typical.
This is, yes, more typical until we get to the coaches and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I will reiterate, so this will still continue to be payments for last year's staff, and like teaching staff, because their pay runs up through August 15th. And so when we get that August 30th payroll, that would incorporate, all the new staff and everything else that.
Anything has changed for this year?
Yeah, everything that's changed for this year when it comes to that. So obviously there could be a change in payroll impacted by that as well.
All that's reflected on the cash flow that
Yes,
was developed.
yeah.
Any questions on payroll or claims?
I move to accept.
Got a motion and a second to approve claims and payroll number 1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Financial summaries.
Yeah, all I have for this item, this time is just sharing the budget calendar. No board action for this, just information purposes. So, at our August 25th meeting, we'll be reviewing 27 budget and asking for permissions to advertise the budget and the bus replacement plan and the capital projects plan. On September 2nd will be the public hearings for those things, and then October 13th, we're asking to approve those things.
And just so you guys are aware also, the DLGF has changed their system that we put our budget in. So Travis is learning a new system related to that process of submitting budgets and doing so forth. And so this is supposed to be more of an efficient system. We'll see how that goes, but it is a new system that Travis is learning to input that information into the DLGF program. So.
All right. Well, if there's no questions for our financial summary, we will move on to our lengthy HR report. All right, we will start out with resignations.
Yeah, I don't know if that was necessary. She did resign. She sent us a resignation letter, but really it's more of a transfer. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I I would be okay with, if you guys are okay with just doing the transfer part of it.
Okay, because that doesn't even make sense,
Yeah.
we're gonna turn around and rehire.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna forego the resignation. Under employment, Laura Weiss, custodian, Southwood High School, effective 7/29. Catherine Johnson, teacher, Metro North Elementary, effective 8/10. Jocelyn Rowe, paraprofessional, Southwood Elementary, effective 8/12. Wendy Miller, substitute teacher, North Schools, and that's effective 8/12. Brandy Collins, transferring from Southwood Elementary to Southwood High School, effective 8/12. Aaron Rice, transferring from paraprofessional library aide to Northville Elementary, effective 8/12. Jody Chenoweth, transferred from paraprofessional to 4-hour cook at Southwood High School, effective 8/11. Northville Fall Coaches, Andrea Beeks, head cross country. Hannah Brubaker, varsity assistant cross country. Eric Kirtland, varsity assistant. Junior high head coach, cross country. Brandon Baker, head football coach. Josh Bickle, varsity assistant football. Cale Dyson, varsity assistant football. Joe Halderman, varsity assistant football. Jeff Campus, varsity assistant football. Joseph Mitchell, varsity assistant football. Stan Cox, varsity volunteer football. Bryce Campus, varsity volunteer football. Matt Burkhart, junior high head football. Jim Curry, junior high assistant football. Adam Sweeble, junior high assistant football. Brock Sizlove, varsity assistant golf. Tiffany Livesay, head volleyball. Shelley Myers, varsity assistant volleyball. Kat Hoppert, varsity assistant volleyball. Emily Watson, varsity assistant JV, head volleyball. Kinsey Griffin, junior high head volleyball. Macy Overlander, 6th grade volleyball. Ariel Miller, head golf. And Daniel Cruz, junior high football. Southwood Fall coaches, Cameron Ball, assistant football. Reggie Ball, 5th and 6th football. Dustin Hurst, 5th and 6th football. Tanya Bone, head cross country. Brittany Blocker, head cheer. Danny Basus, assistant cross country. Jordan Boyer, head girls golf. Tom Pinnacle, head volleyball. Karen Tinkle, assistant volleyball. Bailey Wingett, assistant volleyball. Rachel Hurst, junior high volleyball. Kelsey Nickham, junior high volleyball. Lori Bartle, 6th grade volleyball. And robotics coaches, Amber Bretzman, Northfield Elementary. That's an S. Or school?
Yeah.
Okay, Northfield Elementary. And Kevin Bretzman. That's it. I get a motion and a second to approve our HR report.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve our HR. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on. Heartland Career Center, anything, Matt?
We skipped July meetings, so we got one in August, so nothing new.
Okay. Superintendent?
And I will say, we'll have I think we have a superintendent meeting next week for Heartland Career Center, because there will be 3 new superintendents that will be part of not only Heartland Career Center, but Wabash Miami program. So get an opportunity to meet those individuals as well. So getting ready and starting to plan for stuff next year, but kind of want to bring them up to date on budget things and so forth. So.
Good luck.
All right. Superintendent report. Just want to kind of do a couple things. First, I'd like to show you an update on the projects. And so this is the most recent one for Northfield Elementary. with that. And as you can see, a lot of our classrooms, most of our classrooms are set up, ready to go. And you can see that Sharp Creek now is completely cleared, and they're starting to do the work there to be able to finish that back drive and build some parking lot spaces back there. So that will be a couple, 2-3 months before that is all completed there. So some of this construction is still ongoing throughout the start of the school year. And hopefully, I think the goal is to have everything completed by the end of October, if not sooner, when it comes to finishing up that part of the project. There'll be some other things that we'll be doing with that project, with some boilers and chillers. And obviously that will be timed out depending on when we can shut off the chillers and replace them, and then be able to replace the boilers before they need to be used, and so forth. So there'll be some work that will probably extend out through the end of the calendar year.
How long were they thinking the East gym would take?
I thought the East Gym was maybe around October.
Okay, so it's a while.
Yeah. But the new gym courts will be accessible once school starts is the goal. And so just around the corner, finishing up that project. And then we'll work on getting some of these videos updated for the projects that are happening down on the south end, so people can start seeing some of that progress, because they haven't started doing work since school was out. And so just kind of wanting to update you and the community on what's happening with those projects. So next, just wanted to review, last year there was a new law that went into effect as far as sharing aggregate information on teacher evaluations. And so just kind of wanted to share with you an update on last year's evaluation process. So there were 149 certified staff that were evaluated. Now all our classified staff get evaluated, but as far as formal evaluations related to certified staff, that's what we report on. So there were 149 certified staff last year. 69% of them were affected as highly effective, rated as highly effective, and 31% were rated as effective. We did not have anybody on an improvement plan for last school year. And then I broke it down by building. Metro North had 17 certified staff, 6 that were effective, 11 that were highly effective. Northfield High School had 32 staff, 10 that were effective, 22 that were highly effective. Sharp Creek had 16 staff, 3 that were effective, 13 that were highly effective. Southwood High School had 35 staff, 25 that were effective, 10 that were highly effective. Southwood Elementary had 30 staff, 1 that was effective, 29 that was highly effective. White's had 12 staff, 1 that was effective, 11 that was highly effective. And then the other staff, which would be maybe some central office staff or some other staff that float between buildings, had 7 that were highly effective.
When they go through this process, they understand what it would take to get from effective to highly effective by how they score out.
Mm-hmm.
In what category?
Yeah, so there's a rubric that we follow, and so rubric can be impacted in 2 ways. It can be impacted by what teachers submit as artifacts, and then as far as what administrators observe and deal with on those times, specific times, or just throughout individual times. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to share about that, Mr. Drake.
No, we covered it. So does it have anything to do with student performance?
Yes, there are some student performance parameters related to their rubric.
The appreciation grants no longer tied to it.
We do tie some of that to that because we had a little bit of flexibility to do that. So we have done that, but it does not have to be tied to it.
How are we trending, like from, I mean, in the past, have you been able to compare now that you can share with us, but are we trending up? I mean, are we getting more highly effective, or are we?
Yeah, I would say that's probably been the norm. I'd have to go back and look at it specifically. We've tried not to make a big disparity between effective and highly effective for the most part. I mean, obviously we want teachers to be effective. We want them to be able to do their job and show growth along the way. And so, our goal is to have people that fit in those categories. We really want to try to keep people from the improvement necessary or ineffective columns, and then those are the groups of people that we have to spend more time with and work with and develop plans to help them get better. Obviously, like I said, we want everybody to get better, but we're not trying to differentiate it as much as far as specific.
Well, at least if they're effective and highly effective, that's what we want.
Right. Now, the old tag dollars did differentiate
Yes.
that, and so they put a little bit more onus on effective and highly effective, because those that were highly effective got more dollars than those that were effective, so. And then lastly, just again, want to update you, White's started classes on Monday, so Mr. Drake and I was able to walk around and greet the teachers before the students came in, and everybody was bubbly and excited about their first day. Even some of the kids were excited about being back in school and getting out of the cottages for that time. So it was good to see that. And then our first teacher day is on August 10th. Most of our open houses are the following day on Tuesday, August 11th. And then we start back with students on Wednesday, August 12th. So what is that? Just about 2 weeks away? Exactly.
That's crazy.
So that's all I have.
Jim, you have anything?
I'm trying to collect data to share with you about our testing that happened in the spring. We've gotten some AP numbers and some other numbers, but the ones we're really waiting on are iLearn, and the state has decided to recalibrate how they're going to figure those scores, and so they're in that process now. So we won't have those, the iLearn, English, and math, until September 1st. And so I'll probably share some of the other data I have earlier and get to that. So once again, we had some really strong AP numbers. So, that was probably the only new test data that I got since the school year. So,
When you say recalibrate,
Yeah.
are we talking about?
Is that like a curve?
A big curve, or
I'm guessing
just
it's a
throw out
curve.
certain sections? What do you think they're doing?
Well, let's do iLearn or iRead. Right, iRead scores are up across the state. Ours were very, very good last year. Still going to be good this year. The state added a whole extra testing window. So now a third grader, that was the first year a third grader could take the test 3 times. 2 of those tests would probably be within a month of each other. And they didn't really discuss that when they talked about the improved test scores. And so iLearn, remember, is much more of a college level prep test. And so passing rates tend to be in the, what you would expect the college going rate to be, 40 to 50, 60%. I just wonder whether they're going to make those numbers be not quite so harsh against non-college bound third graders.
So they're differentiating the diplomas.
So the diplomas will be something else. I just think that these scores will, my gut says they didn't bring teachers and principals together to make the scores more challenging, because they're already very challenging. So if you're asking me to read the tea leaves, I expect our iLearn scores across the state will probably improve. And whether that's the cause behind that, you'll have lots of exploring to do on that. And so they've been meeting them over the summer. We haven't seen any of those results. This was also the first year we did I learned checkpoints along the way. And we did checkpoint 1, 2, or 3. And so I imagine when the scores come in and they're going to improve a little bit, we're going to hear how great the I learned checkpoints were to help make that happen. And that the governor can point to how he's improving education.
I didn't want to go there. Where?
Well, you kind of hooked me there.
Yeah. Yeah, to make the appearance a little different.
That's pure speculation. We'll have to wait and see. We'll find out September 1 is when we'll get them, and so of course it'll take me a couple weeks probably to format that. Sure.
When were the tests completed?
Those tests would have been taken in late April, early May. And we took science and social studies at those same times and got those scores prior to school being out. And that's usually when we get those. So they intentionally kept them back to do this, I don't have the right word, recalibration, study, survey, whatever it is, to check those, to find new cuts curve. Again, you've asked me to speculate. I don't have any of that as hard evidence. That's just,
Thanks for trying.
And obviously, some of that will be tied into the new accountability system, but our accountability letter grades and scores are. So I think there's probably some checking on how that's going to be impacted as well.
Well, I guess I'm looking at this, okay, they've changed the diplomas. So anybody that takes the I Learn, that's going into, going to work basically. The I Learn is pointless for this. And so they're gonna take it as it's pointless when they're taking it. So it's, I don't know if they're gonna take those names out of those numbers and.
I doubt it.
I just look at, because I know that's what drives a lot of the tests, because there's, there's kids that know they're not going to college, so their SATs and all that kind of stuff is just.
They won't take that out.
Yeah, and it's worth, since Dr. brought up the accountability, just know that that accountability model is still being crafted and created, and so this first round is going to be very muddy. It could be our reporting, it could be their collecting, it could be all kinds of things, and so I wouldn't put a whole lot of credibility in this first round because.
And it's based on last year, even though you didn't know the criteria to perform to.
Yes.
Correct. Correct.
What's the hurry? Why not just wait, put the information out there, and then we start? I don't understand.
That's a very reasonable question. Yeah.
There's probably a rush because I think it was in, I assume it was in statute.
It was in
so they had
legislation.
to make a deadline.
So the real question is whether the legislatures then build in that extra year to let them put something together.
Anything else?
So more data coming later.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we're going to move into new business. We've got a hearing that we're going to have to go through for at least an additional appropriations hearing. The next item on agenda is for the board to hold a lease and additional appropriations hearing in connection with the proposed bond project. If you are interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed in sheet, which should include your name, address. After the presentation, there will be opportunity for public to make comments about the lease rental to be paid under the amendment to lease and the appropriation of bond proceeds. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to established board standards and that the topic be limited to the lease rental and appropriations of funds under consideration. The notices of this hearing were published as legally required. Pursuant of Indiana Code 20-47-3, before the school corporation may enter a lease with a non-profit building corporation, the school corporation must conduct a hearing regarding the execution of the proposed lease agreement and whether the rental to be paid to the lesser building corporation under the proposed lease is a fair and reasonable rental for the proposed improvements. Similarly, before the school corporation can appropriate any dollars it directly receives from a nonprofit Building Corporation and must conduct a hearing on those proceeds for additional appropriations for those funds. We will now hear from Travis about the proposed projects related to the lease and additional appropriations.
So this evening represents the final steps of approving the issuance of the bonds to finance the projects that were first discussed and approved in September of 2025. This lease financing will allow the corporation to renovate and build facilities at Southwood Elementary and Southwood Junior Senior High Schools. The school corporation is funding this project through a lease financing, as it has done with other past construction and renovation projects. Lease financings are used by school corporations across the state of Indiana to borrow for renovation and construction projects. The Southwood Junior Senior High School is currently subject to a financing lease. Therefore, we are amending that lease agreement to increase the lease rental due from the school corporation. In exchange for the increased lease rental, the building corporation will use the bond proceeds to make the needed improvements to the buildings. The increased lease rental, as shown as the maximum amount in the amendment to lease, will be sufficient to pay the principal and interest due to the bondholders. The school corporation may also receive money for the sale of additional real estate at the Southwood Junior Senior High School campus to the building corporation. Since this money was not initially listed in the school corporation's annual budget, the school corporation is required to hold a hearing for the additional appropriation of those funds.
We will now open the public hearing. Remember, if you'd like to speak, we ask that you state your name, address, limit your comments to proposed rent to be paid under the lease agreement as amended, and appropriations of the bond proceeds. Keep any comments to establish board standards and avoid being repetitive if possible. Does anyone have any comments? Mr. Kings? If not, we thank all those who participated. We will now close the hearing and reopen the regular meeting. Thanks for the participation. Travis, could you please summarize the resolution authorizing execution of amendment to lease and sale of real estate?
As required by Indiana Code 2047-3, after a lease hearing, the school board must approve the amendment to lease and authorize the school board officers to execute such amendments to lease. This amendment to lease is the agreement whereby the school corporation will levy the required property tax to pay the lease payments throughout the life of the bond issue. The lease payments will be paid to the building corporation and used to pay the bondholders to repay the proposed bonds.
Could I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution authorizing execution of amendment to lease and sell of real estate?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Travis, could you please summarize the additional appropriation resolution?
The additional appropriation resolution outlines the appropriation of funds received for the sale of certain school facilities and real estate to the building corporation, where portions of the proposed projects will be constructed. The resolution also specifies that any such funds will be placed in the school corporation's construction account, separate from all other school corporation funds, and spent only on the project, since the appropriation will be from bond proceeds.
Any questions on that? Can we get a motion and a second to approve the additional appropriation resolution?
So
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the additional appropriations resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Travis, could you please summarize the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts?
The next resolution is the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts. Once received at the bond closing, the building corporation will own facilities where much of the renovation work will be completed. The building corporation will also be the issuer of the bonds. As a result, certain contracts may need to be with the building corporation because the building corporation will hold the money to pay the contractors. The school corporation receives the bids and/or contracts and awards the bids and/or contracts under state law, but retains the right to assign those bids and/or contracts to the building corporation for payment. at the discretion of the board.
Questions on that? We'll get a motion and a second to approve the resolution assigning construction bids and contracts.
So moved.
A motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Travis, could you summarize the resolution approving fifth supplement to master continuing disclosure, undertaking and issuance of bonds?
This resolution satisfies the Securities and Exchange Commission requirement that a school corporation enter a continuing disclosure undertaking agreement if it issues bonds to public investors. The agreement requires that the school corporation agree to timely provide certain financial information and provide notice of certain material events if they occur.
Any questions there? Discussion. We get a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the resolution approving fifth supplement to the master continuing disclosure undertaking the issuance of bonds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. That closes that hearing. Any unfinished business? Board policy, public comment. Any items from board members? If not, we will adjourn.